Boom, boom, boom. Strike a pose. There's nothing to it. Vogue. Oh, girlies, I have been singing so much Madonna this afternoon. It is Madonna time for me today, okay? Bit of a random way to start off the app, I admit. But hello, welcome back to Weekly Wigs. How are we all feeling? Cheers to you, my friends. If you're looking at me on the vid, I cheers to you a can of poppy, strawberry lemon, low sugar soda. Woo! I'm actually really obsessed with this drink as of late. It's new in the UK. I think this is some bougie drink that they've had in America. Well, I say it's bougie. It's like, you know, just a can of pop. But I don't know. It's fancy. It's cool. I like the packaging. It's very refreshing. Well, happy weekday, weekend, weeknight, whatever day you're bloody listening to this. Hope all is swell in your world. Thank you for joining us back on episode, God, what are we on now? I think this is going to be episode 26. Oh, girlies, I'm on a roll. I actually cannot, I'm seriously quite proud of myself as of late because I feel like I've been really churning the eps out. When I did my first series, I think I did like a 10 episode first series. Then I took a Christmas break and came back. And I think in my mind, part of me thought oh, maybe I'll just do 10 episodes a season. That'll be a good way to break it up. But to be honest, sometimes that's just not how the calendar falls. And depending on where the inspiration and the mood takes you, I was like, I'm just going to keep rolling with it. I am slightly questioning whether I should even bother calling them series anymore. I think sometimes when you break things up by series and then you're not necessarily consistent in how many episodes there are, but I don't know, and sometimes there's just so much going on in the world that I do want to come to you guys and talk about and yap on my pod that I feel if I was to take a structured break and then I didn't Anyway, this is all very boring, but I don't know, maybe let me know your thoughts. I think probably as a listener, you probably aren't even aware that I even make them a series unless I've mentioned it, but it's just how I've happened to name them in my own brain. So maybe we'll just stick to just episode numbers from now on and we'll go from there. So anyway, hope you've been enjoying the last few eps. I obviously just had a 2-parter with my friend Josie who came on the pod. Much love to Josie. Really enjoyed our pod episodes. We did a big old chat about moving away, navigating life, all of the fun challenges. We did some fun little hot or not kind of vibe game. And today marks another 2-part extravaganza. We've got Kate on the pod, who is one of my old childhood school friends who we just reconnected recently. And Kate's a bit of a creative girly too, and we kind of have some stuff in common. So I thought, let's get her on the pod. So we just have some good old chat about all sorts of things, which you'll shortly hear. But in true fashion, because we yapped for 2 hours, I'm also breaking it up into 2 parts. So this is part 1. In terms of just general life updates, as you are listening to this, because I'm pre-recording a lot of this and scheduling them in advance, I am currently sat on a bloody sun lounger in Palma de Mallorca, sunning up my skin. Oh! Girlies, I think I might have mentioned it a few pods back that I had planned on booking a holiday or whatever, but I am long overdue a break. Megan Wigz is out of office, girlies, even though I'm still with you in your ears and on your screens. But just know behind the scenes, I'm sunning it up right now, and I'll obviously probably give you the lowdown when I'm back. But I just need a break, girls. I need a break. It's hard going doing full-time content creation. I do all my TikTok stuff, doing the pod, recording, editing, working full time. It can get a little bit overwhelming at times, and I've definitely been pushing myself a little bit hard this last few weeks. So all for positive reasons, obviously, but your gal needs a little bit of a rest. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now as you're watching this. And we've got some episodes stacked, obviously, for the foreseeable few weeks while I'm away. And then I'll come back to you with, honestly, I think it's time for a little solo episode before long. Just me and you, gang. Have a little catch up on life. But we'll come back to that in a few weeks. So first up, let's get our guests on the move. Without further ado, let's get into the app. You made it. You're here, Kate. Welcome to the Weekly Wigs.
Thank you.
How are we doing? How are you feeling about being on the Weekly Wigs? I was very touched when you voice clipped me a few weeks ago and you very kindly was like, I'm obsessed with your pod. I
Yeah.
listen every week. And I was like, girl, thank you so much.
I
Like,
know.
how's it feeling?
It's feeling great. I'm feeling good. I'm excited. I'm nervous.
Is this your first podcast you've ever been on?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Exciting. It's
Hopefully
weird for
not my
me because
last.
it's like I watch so many podcasts and I almost can't view myself as the ones I watch, if that makes sense, because
Yeah.
it just feels so natural to me. And I guess because I did like radio and media in uni, and so I used to do lots of this stuff, and we would do like interviews and all that stuff as part of our work. So it doesn't feel like I can imagine what it feels like for a guest where you're like, oh, I'm like on the internet, like people are
Yeah.
watching me. Like, is that just like a weird feeling?
Yeah, it is a weird feeling, but it's like, I don't know, it's fun, isn't it? Like, I love podcasts. I listen to so many podcasts, and I'm always like, oh, it must be so fun to be a guest. And now
What
I
ones are you
am.
listening to right now? What's your pods?
Well, I listen to several. I listen to Call Her Daddy.
Love. Oh, have you
Um,
got some thoughts on the latest drama? Are you in with the pop
with the
culture
Alex Earl
drama?
thing.
The Alex versus Alex. That's
Well,
very
yeah, but
current.
I don't feel like we've had an update for a little bit, have we? She said,
No, she's keeping us hanging,
yeah,
fiending. I
I
want to know what's
know.
going on.
But the,
I'm currently Team Cooper. I can't lie.
yeah, oh God, yeah. I've never heard of this other girl until
No.
it all came out, really. But yeah, when she said, "Oh, come on, say what you were gonna say," and then she was
I
like, "Oh, don't worry,
respected
I
that.
will." Yeah, same.
I was like, oh, it's eating up out you. And it's,
Yeah.
why did they both have to call it Alex as well? Like, so
I
typical, isn't it?
know.
I feel like that's just a plot waiting to be written
I
in like a
know.
TV program or something.
And they look so similar as well. They like
I know.
scarily similar.
It's weird. It's a really. I was convinced it was a PR move at first. I was like, this can't be real. Like,
Yeah.
they're lining up for something, but then it looked like it was a bit more serious with the comments and stuff. And I thought, oh, maybe this is like real beef. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Celebs.
Well, they
But
were
I like
like,
Call Her Daddy though. That is a good podcast.
yeah, same. I love that. I listen to Olivia Atwood's podcast. Is it Olivia's
Oh,
House?
is she off? What was she off? Towie or
Love
something?
Island. She
Oh,
did
Love Island. Who am I mixing
a
her up
while
with?
ago.
Does she go out with someone famous or something?
Well, she was
What have I got
married
her
to a
for?
footballer called Bradley Dack until very
Oh.
recently. They've like just got divorced, so that's all very hot
Oh,
tea.
drama.
And I think she was spotted kissing Pete Wicks from
Oh, maybe
Towie.
that's who I'm connecting her with.
Yeah.
That because he's got a podcast as well. I feel like everyone's got a podcast these days.
Yeah. Oh, everybody has. I do actually
Myself
listen to
included.
his sometimes.
Yeah.
He's going with
Him
Sam
and
Thompson.
Sam. Yeah, they're a funny duo, aren't they?
Yeah. And then what else do I listen to? Oh, I like Elizabeth Day, How to Fail.
Oh, I've not
That's a
heard of
good
her.
podcast. She's really good. She's an author, and
Yeah.
she like her podcast. The premise is around like how people's failures have become their, greatest
Oh, that's
strength
a
in
good
a
idea.
way. Yeah,
Philosophical podcast.
yeah.
Like.
And Louis Theroux's podcast because
Louis Theroux's
like,
got a podcast.
obsessed. Oh
Why
God,
did I
yeah,
not know this? I love Louis Theroux.
yeah.
I mean,
we're like
obviously, I don't know
4
his
seasons deep
documentaries.
now. It's
Has
great.
he got good guests on there? I'm assuming he has
Yeah.
like celeb guests and stuff on.
Really good guests.
Did you watch that Manosphere documentary you did a while ago?
Unfortunately, yeah.
No, it was actually so triggering to watch as a woman. It was like, this is real. But he's
Yeah.
brilliant because he's got this way, isn't he, of like, he doesn't have to say much. He just lets them kind of make a fool of themselves, which I quite like.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the beauty of his documentary making is just like he just lets
It's
people,
effortless.
yeah, kind of dig them their own grave, really. But
I'm going to
God,
check out his
yeah,
pod.
it was triggering.
Oh,
really
it was.
triggering.
I did a whole bit on like a podcast a while ago about that, and I was just like, these men aren't real. They surely are not real, but they actually, the scary thing is that they are.
I
They are
know.
real men, and they think that that's what it's like to be like a real man, and it's just like,
It's just
society.
scary for like, yeah, just like the younger generations who are
I
actually like,
know.
they
Look
really
up to that.
believe it. And like,
They do.
oh God, it's just so sad.
It is. We could probably go on like an entire episode about that, but we've got
Yeah.
a lot to get through today. So you're into the pods. And so
Yes.
just to sort of move into just a bit of a background about yourself then, do you want to sort of tell the Weekly Wigs gang, where do you live? Well, no, you don't have to give your full address, but like, where are you from? You know what I mean? Like, give them a little
Yeah.
bit of background.
Well, I live in South Wales.
Yeah.
We obviously grew up together. We were in school together.
Since you're about 3.
Yeah.
A little 3-year-olds.
I know.
Did we go to the same Maythrin now that I'm thinking about it, or was it just primary school?
I
Did
don't
you
know
go to
whether we went.
Methrin?
Yeah, I think I went to
Pontyclean.
Pontyclean.
Yeah, we must have then. I can't
Yeah.
remember Methrin that much, obviously, because we were like 2 or 3. But obviously we went to the same primary school and then throughout
Yeah.
comp. So we've been known each other since we were like that little,
Well, I think
which
we
is kind
even
of
knew
weird.
each other whilst we were in the womb because our brothers were in
Probably.
the same year,
Oh, yeah.
weren't they? All maybe a year apart. So I think our mums
True.
already knew each other. And then we were
That's
born a day
weird.
apart
We
because
were.
I'm the
We
10th of
were.
July
Oh
and
my
you're the
God.
11th.
Do you remember we
And
had
I'm sure
joint
they,
birthday party?
oh God, I'll never ever forget that joint birthday party.
I
Me, you,
always
Katie,
remember
and
it.
Brad.
Yeah, and we had like I remember having a cocktail menu, and
Yes.
it was like it was pretty major. I don't know who we thought we were. I felt like that was the event of the summer that year.
I know. I remember my cocktail was Kinky Kate, but I was like
What?
furious about it because I think we were like 9 or not
Oh my
even that.
yeah. Oh my God, I don't remember it being called that. I have no idea what
Yeah,
mine was called.
it was a
Just
bit of a
remember it being a
promiscuous.
popular one. I thought, oh, it must have been a good cocktail. Mocktail even. Oh my God, that's so funny. And we had
I
a full
know.
photo shoot, did we not?
I can't remember the photo shoot, but it wouldn't
I have
surprise me.
memories of it because it was me, you, and another girl we knew called Katie. Because her birthday was like 2 days apart then,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah.
And we had like photos done in her garden, and they definitely exist in a memory box somewhere in my house. But I think maybe we used photos of the 3 of us as like part of the invite or something.
Oh my
Oh, why
God.
was it given like MTV Super Sweet 16? Like
No,
we were
that's
throwing
literally what
Bash
it
of the
was.
Summer. That's so. I remember having a great time though.
Yeah, same.
I can recall that we all had like a little separate area of one of the back rooms in the community centre where obviously loads of kids from school would come in and we all
Yeah.
got like presents and it was like, oh my God, everyone's got me a present. It was just, yeah, a time was had.
Yeah, it was great. It was like the best days of my life.
Childhood. And we did ballet obviously for many, many years together.
Yeah.
And that's kind of probably another element of like childhood. You just do so many like social things as kids, don't you? Like
Yeah.
clubs and all sorts of things. And you actually did ballet a lot longer than me, I think. You continued onwards till you were a bit older, right?
Yeah, I was still doing ballet into my 20s, I think.
You?
Yeah, I did all my grades and everything. I loved it. I miss ballet, to be honest.
Yeah.
I haven't danced for a long time, but I really miss it. I loved it.
Well, I actually added my notes today, a bit of a throwback, because I was going to mention about you're like big on dancing and you've always been a big fan of dancing. And I
Yeah.
have this memory of you doing a television competition
Oh,
thing and you were in something called True Dynamics.
yes.
And the only reason I always remember that is because I always see it on my bloody Facebook memories because I must have been like posting about it at the time, like, vote for Kate, she's on the telly. But I'm like, I need to know more about that experience
Yeah.
because that just sounds quite fascinating.
Well, I mean, that genuinely was probably like the best time of my
I
life.
bet.
I loved that, like that era when I was like 16, 17, 18 in college. It was just like, I was just so carefree and like nothing like was like so important or, so serious. We just had like the best time. But yeah, we entered this program called Don't Stop Believing. It was on Channel
Oh,
5.
that's what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
God.
the judges were Tamsin Outhwaite, Duncan from Blue. Can't remember his surname.
Yeah. I remember him being on it. I
Yeah,
don't know what
this
his last
guy
name is.
called Chucky Claypow, which he was
Interesting
like
name.
the choreographer. I think that was his surname. I could be wrong actually, but it was something along those lines. He choreographed the High School Musical films.
Oh, the one who was in it too. Wasn't he the
Yeah,
one who
I don't
also
know.
was one of Michael Jackson's dancers?
Probably.
I think
Sounds
he had
about
like
right.
longish hair, right? Or like
Yeah.
medium length hair. Oh, I remember him. Yeah. Yeah. He was in all of them, wasn't he?
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
Anastasia.
Just
The
iconic. Just
Anastasia.
Anastasia. No biggie.
Yeah, met
Pop icon
Anastasia. She was
legend.
like, "You're amazing."
Wow.
And Emma Bunton was the presenter.
Was she? Oh
Yeah,
my God, did you meet her?
yeah,
Oh.
several
Oh my God.
times.
And like you are like the most like Baby Spice, I would
Yeah, yeah,
argue. Like, oh my God, that's
literally.
amazing.
It was
So
like,
how do you even get onto that in the first place? Was it part of the dance troupe you were in, was that something that you did in college or was it like a separate hobby that you did outside of like education?
well, I was in college. I was studying my BTEC in musical theatre,
Right.
and my teacher, well, our dance teacher, he had his own dance school up in Port Talbot. It's like really, really prestigious school.
Yeah.
And he'd heard about this program coming up. So he picked like a group of us. There was 14 of us, I think, all together to go and like audition for this program. But we didn't know. We had no idea like what type of thing it was going to
Yeah.
be. We auditioned in like a school in Cardiff in Leckwith in
Wow.
just like a school yard. It was like it didn't
Mhm.
feel very serious at all at the time.
No.
But then suddenly we were just like catapulted into this like live TV show and like
Wow.
it never like clearly wasn't that popular because they never made a second series.
Hey, I was
But for
watching. I
us,
was a fan.
yeah, it was like a big deal.
I bet.
And
This
then
is
we
like the
toured the
era.
UK. It was
You toured
class.
the UK?
Yeah, we like we
Wow.
had this like tour bus. We were like living on this tour bus, going to different
What a
cities
life.
all the time. It was amazing.
Did you feel like a celeb? Just like I'm a
Yeah.
rock star.
We did
like-
think we were celebrities,
Wow.
genuinely.
That's so cool. And I feel like this was the era and the time of like the X Factor, Britain's Got Talent. There was a lot
Yeah.
of like talent shows that were. I mean, do you remember what year this was?
It
Would
was
it have been like 2008 or something? Maybe?
no, I think it was like
Nine?
2010, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what because I stayed on in school in sixth form, and so you would have been in college doing these
Yeah.
years. So yeah, that adds up. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I
Wow.
went to college in 2009, and then it was like I don't know, either a year or two into college, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like you said, like we felt like we were just on the X Factor, like we really did. We were like
Newfound fame, like
expecting to
this
be
is my
signing
moment.
autographs. Yeah.
What
But it
were
was
the
so fun.
any like backstage goss, anyone a knob or anyone just nice, like what were
I
the
can't
celebs
really
like?
remember any backstage goss. Like
No.
I can remember like we would like that. Well, they put us up in a hotel with like the other contestants, and like as some of them were like a bit like flicking their hair over their
Competitive.
shoulders
Oh,
and stuff.
God.
But like we were just there for a laugh, and like we were. Oh, to be honest, like we were all kind of underage at the time. I mean, most of us were anyway, but
Mhm.
our teachers were not really that arsed. He was just like, treats us as adults. And all of my friends were like older, so they were like of age, but I
Yeah.
used to go out with them all the time and just get absolutely hammered and just come home a bloody state. To be
Living your
honest, I
best
think
life.
our dance teacher thought I was just like 18 because I hung around with all like the 18, 19-year-olds. I was only like
Yeah.
16, 17. But
Were you doing ballet alongside the True Dynamics group then? So you were
yeah,
doing double the dance classes?
yeah. I think
You
I
were
was still
dedicated.
in ballet at the time, yeah. But
That's that juxtaposition of you being like rock star on the
I
road
know.
and then just going back to Kim Barsley's dance school,
Oh, I
like,
know.
and pirouette.
Well, I remember telling Kim that I was going to go and do this musical theatre, like BTEC, and I feel
Mhm.
like she didn't love that idea for me,
Did she
to be honest.
not?
No, I think
She wanted you to be full ballet queen.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, she came from the Royal Ballet School of London, didn't she? Is
Yeah.
that what it's called? And I think she had some students that went on to go there, didn't she? So, I mean, it makes sense because that's her expertise. But
yeah.
I mean, you're a varied gal.
No,
Wanted to do it all.
exactly. I think that's what she wanted me to put. I'm not built to be like a ballet dancer. I was never going to be like a professional ballet dancer. And even if I was, I'd be bloody retired. Like I would have retired years ago. So
It's hard, ballet is. Like,
yeah.
I never got to the point where I did the actual point shoes. Did you do it? 'Cause
Yeah,
that always
yeah.
looked like the hardest thing. I feel like that makes your feet like bleed, does it not?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
tough.
blood, sweat,
I
and
mean,
tears.
it's not as painful as it looks, to be fair, because you've got like a lot of like cushioning. You wear like these little socks on your toes, and then
Yeah.
like it doesn't. It's not really painful, but if you're on for a long time, obviously it does get a bit tender.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never very good at it. I was never very good at point work, to be honest.
Did you like both styles of dancing, or were you more drawn to one over another?
Well, I loved like hip hop and stuff, but again, I wasn't very good. I would
You
say I was.
clearly were, because you were on a bloody dance show.
No, I don't know. I was more like classical, like I said, like ballet, jazz, like those types of
Contemporary dance.
yeah,
All
contemporary
that.
over like hip
You
hop.
were flipping your legs in the air like Kimberly Wyatt.
Yeah. I can remember just like
Oh.
messing around one day in college, and there was this boy there, like really good at hip hop, and he was just like pissing themselves laughing at me because I was so bad. But I
Oh,
loved it.
no.
And like,
Yeah, you
yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah,
I
I
do
didn't
remember
care.
you dancing around school a lot, actually, before you went to college.
Yeah,
I think it was fair to say that you were probably a child that enjoyed like performing and arts. Like, would you say
yeah,
that was like what you were drawn to as a kid?
yeah, 100%. Like when really wanted to leave school when I was 16 because I just didn't really enjoy school at all.
No.
But I had no idea what I was going to do. And like the only thing that even remotely appealed to me, I can remember me and my mum going to the open day at like Bridgend College. And I was like, I don't know, toying with the idea of doing like beauty and hair and all this. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, nothing is like really screaming at me. And like, I love all that. But I was just like, and then we went to see this. We went into like the arts section and they were like advertising this musical theatre course. And I was like, oh my God, I
Sounds like a
want to
bit
do
of
that.
me, that.
I don't think I've ever, well, I think I had seen a musical at that point, but I didn't know loads about musical theatre. But I was like, I just have to go and do that.
Yeah, it's something that connects loosely to dance, any
Yeah,
kind of music, arts, that kind of stuff. I
exactly.
actually really wish I'd gone to college for my final 2 years because I obviously stayed on at school in
Oh,
sixth form, and there was one when I did my AS levels, which is the first year. I did 4 subjects, which was history, media, which I really like media. Excuse me.
oh,
I did I was meant to do animation, but then our school was so bloody useless. They promised animation and it would be like this new subject and we'd do it on the computers and it was a whole thing. And then of course, because our school was crap, they were like, oh, we haven't got the budget for that actually, so it's now going to be fine art instead. And I was
oh
like,
God.
fine art is not animation, but there we go.
No.
So I had to suffer for a year doing that, and I did English lit, which I hated. And the
Oh,
only reason I did
really?
it is because my mum basically forced me to do it, and I wanted to do film studies,
Yeah.
and she wouldn't let me do it, and we had a whole tiz about it. Anyway, long story short, after my year 12, I basically got a D in English lit because I knew I wasn't good at it.
Mm.
I dropped this fine art one because it's not what I signed up for, and so I only had 2 A levels left to do, which was still enough to get to uni. But like, I really wanted to do film studies, so I took it up in year 13 as an
Yeah.
AS level, but it was taking place in Bridgend College.
Right.
So it was like me and 2 other girls our school that used to go in the evening. So the school arranged for like a taxi to take us there like once an evening. And I
Yeah.
just remember the feeling and it was in Bridgend College, and it was just like the teachers really do treat you more like an adult. And I know
Yeah.
at that point you're still not really an adult, but like they at least make you feel like one. Whereas
Yeah.
in school, I always feel like they just treat you still like you're a bit of a child. And there was just a vibe I felt whenever I used to do my film studies class. I was like, oh, quite like it here. I wish I'd done this for like my sixth form as such. But you don't know that until you go, unfortunately. And I
No.
guess unless it's like encouraged or it's an option, it's hard to know like, well, I guess I just have to stay on in school. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
was there like a pivotal point for you where you realised like, oh, there's no way I'm doing 2 years of sixth form? Like, was it just kind of the years leading up to it?
Yeah, I don't think it was ever like an option really for me to stay on. I just could not wait to get out of there. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, I just really hated it. But like you're right, like what honestly, college was like I think people kind of frown upon college a little bit sometime or kind of like look down their
They take
nose
the
on
piss
it
out of
or
it a bit. Yeah.
yeah, like as if it's not. But like honestly, it teaches you so many life skills and like I made like some of the best friends I've made and like you said, like the teachers they're teaching like a specialist subject.
Mhm.
So they're really invested in like bringing the best out in people and like you do
Yeah.
get treated way more like an adult and like I loved it. I think it's great. I think it's like brilliant. I just would never ever change it to be honest. I'd never
Mhm.
pick being in school over there.
It's a very different like educational setup, isn't it? The way that
Mm.
they, like you said, they specify like a certain subject, which probably helps you more at that age because at that point you know what you like and what you probably
Yeah.
want to do. Whereas when you're still in school and having to do all the maths and the science, oh, it's just like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't care. Like I don't want to do any of this. Like it's definitely a massive shift in energy I feel between school and college. And I think it's like interesting how your paths can go such different ways depending on
Yeah.
like where you stay, where you go. And it's the same for uni as well, isn't it? Like I felt like in our school it was just like no other talking point other than
Mm,
uni. It's like, well, you got to do UCAS form. Like, what else is there to do? And
yeah.
realistically, we could have gone to college, could have done something more vocational, but it's like I do think the education system needs a bit of a rethink sometimes to like
Oh no,
hone in
I
on.
definitely do.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just
Well,
yeah.
that's it. It was like I can either pick like 4 subjects now, which I'm not really interested in and not really invested in, and I know I'm not really going to give my full attention to, or I can go and prance about and do some ballet and sing
Have
and
a laugh.
yeah, have a laugh.
What was do you think it was about the school setup that you hated so much? Was it more to do with like the way that it was structured, or was it just like people? Like what was it specifically, can you remember, that you were just sort of like, oh, this is not for me?
I think it was a vary of different things, really, a variation of different things, but it was the people, some of the people definitely
God,
didn't know
I mean,
about.
yeah, we had
But
some interesting students in our
mm,
school, to say the least.
I
Yeah.
feel like it was like quite an eye-opening experience when we went from like primary school to comprehensive school
Yeah.
because like our primary school was like very small town and very like little
Mhm.
village and very like yeah, everybody fingers
Cozy,
on lips and
nice.
like yeah,
Yeah.
and then you get to like comprehensive and there's like, oh my God, it's just
Savage
like
kids.
some savage kids, like let's be honest.
There was, and we won't name names, but like, I think the thing with our school in our earlier years, we had such a diverse range of locations of like feeder schools of people
Mm,
that came to the comprehensive, and that was like a real varying degree of different backgrounds and different areas,
yeah,
and like there were just some naughty kids. Like I just
really
remember there being a
naughty.
lot of naughty kids and there was always just a lot of disruption in lessons and like I think if we're being truthful, a lot of our teachers, some of them great, some of them not so great. I never felt like they were that good at discipline in our school. Like they
No.
weren't very able to deal with the naughty kids, or if they did, it was sort of to the extreme level of like, right, you're expelled, and it
Yeah.
was kind of like, oh, yeah, I agree. It was a bit bare ref at times, shall we
Feral.
say?
Well, no, I don't remember any discipline in habit. All I can ever remember of like the discipline element was like that little detention room by
Room
reception.
10.
Yeah, like who
Yeah.
gives a shit if you've got to go and sit in there for an hour? They're just going to come out and do exactly the same thing. So,
The amount of
yeah,
fights that always used to happen in that school as well. I mean, it was a slight
yeah,
entertaining part of the day, but it was just like, right! And everyone's bloody screaming and running to the yard. And I felt like that was quite oh my God, I can remember actually there was this boy, and he was, I think, I think his name was Yayan. And he was year younger than us. And I can
mm,
remember he had a fight with like a sixth former. Or like or he was like a year 7, and then the other boy was maybe like either a year 11 or something. And they
yeah,
literally had like a fight in the yard. And this Yayan boy was quite small for well, he would have been as bloody year 7. He was like 11 years old. The sixth form
yeah.
or whatever. I just remember him picking him up and just like lobbing him into a bush. I was just like,
Oh my good
oh my
lord.
God, what is this school I'm in? It's like Waterloo Road, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
the
it was. It's
drama.
wild.
Bloody hell.
And, like, I was
Yeah.
just like I quickly realized I was like, "Okay, people are not here to, like, get their
Learn.
heads down." Yeah.
No, it was definitely a bit of a perseverance, that journey. I feel like somewhat similar, and I don't have much regrets in life really, because I don't really believe in regrets, but I think if I could have changed my learning experience, I 100%, if I'd realised what college was like and how much I
Mm.
enjoyed doing the film studies, I think I would have really thrived actually doing my sixth form years, doing those times. But it's just, you never know those things when you're a kid, do you? You just
No,
kind of
exactly.
trial and error. But I'm glad you enjoyed college though. That sounds like it really obviously set you off on your path then later on in life. You
Mm.
sort of went from college then to kind of work in the creative space, shall we say. So do you want to
Mm.
like tell us a little bit how that journey went from like college point onwards?
Well, I felt to be honest, I felt a bit lost when I left college. Like like I said, I really felt like, I always felt like really kind of an enigma in school. I was just kind of like floating around, and then got to college and I was like, this is my tribe.
These are my peeps, yeah.
These are my people. So then when I left, I was a bit like, oh God, what am I going to do now? And like, not to delve too deep into it, but like my parents were like getting divorced at the time, and a lot of people were going off to drama school, and I just didn't
Mhm.
feel like I was ready to go.
I mean,
So
you're only 18 at that point, though. That's
yeah,
such a young age, really.
exactly. So I was like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Anyway, I ended up just like working in a bar for a couple of years. I loved it though. It was like very
Yeah.
fun. And then eventually I decided to go back to college. So I'd gone back when I was like 21 to do like a foundation degree, because a few of the people who I was in college with the first time round had gone back to do this foundation degree. So I was like, right, I'm going to come back. Went, did it, loved it. And then we had the option to go into our third year, which was in the University of South Wales, to get a full degree.
So USW
Yeah.
alumni over here.
um, but I opted, well, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to just apply to do my master's in a drama school, because
Yeah.
like I said, I really wanted to go when I was 18, but I just didn't feel ready for it. So anyway, I started applying for drama schools. I ended up getting into the Guildford School of Acting, which was like a massive, massive achievement. I was like so chuffed.
What was
I didn't.
the audition process like getting into drama school? Because
It's tough.
my friend Amber, who's been on the pod before, like she went through the ringer trying to get into drama schools, and she
Yeah.
wasn't able to get into the big ones. And I understand it's like notoriously hard, isn't it, to try and get into
Yeah.
drama schools?
Well, at the time, I think they had like 15,000 applicants, and they offered
Whoa.
like 15 places or
Blood, yeah,
something.
you did well there then.
And I didn't even have a degree. They'd never accepted anyone onto the master's course without a degree before. So I
Wow.
had to write like an essay and everything to prove that
Mhm.
I was like, capable of still doing sort of master's level work.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, then I went there in Guildford, which was again like just an amazing
Is that just somewhere
experience.
outside of London? Where is that on a map?
It's like it's outside, just outside of London. It's
Okay.
Surrey.
Oh,
It's
okay.
yeah, I used to swap in Reading, because I remember you saying you were thinking of living in
Reading.
Reading
Yeah, I'm
for a
glad I
little.
didn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, it's just outside. It's Surrey basically, but
yeah.
it's not far from London
Nice
at
part of the world,
all.
that.
It's lovely. It was so nice. I loved living in Guildford. But yeah,
And
when
that
it
was a year-long master's course, is it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, did my masters, and then I
Did
ended
you
up
live in like a student house at the time, or what was your
no.
living arrangements when you went there?
Well, I was very, very bloody lucky actually, well, because of all the fiasco with the fact that I didn't have a full degree and having to write an essay and blah, 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 it took like quite a long time for him to like officially confirm that I could go. So by this point, I think it was like end of July, beginning of August, and I had to move there like beginning of September.
Mhm.
So I was like frantically looking for places to live, and everywhere was just like gone, ready for the
Oh
year to
no.
come. I found this advert online, and we were like, oh, let's just go and have a look. It was just like a little flat share. This girl, she was a hairdresser. She owned a flat. She was
Yeah.
renting out her room, one of her rooms. Anyway, me and my mum and my stepdad went up there, and we were like, oh my God, this is fantastic. It was like such a nice flat.
Oh,
And
amazing.
she was like lovely as well. So I like really landed on my feet, and it was like a decent
Ah.
price. Later found out that like a group of my friends from Guildford School of Acting were living like literally 2 doors down. So I just go into their flat all the
Mhm.
time and just have a jolly with them. But
Oh, that's good.
yeah, it was really good. It was a nice, it was like good to be able to like have my own space. I think I would have like suffocated a little bit if I was living with like drama students.
Oh, yeah. I mean, living with like people in general can be a
Mm,
challenge, no matter what your bloody age. But this and the kind of like the student housing feel of it all. But then it's weird
yeah.
because you're like a mature student at that point, so it's not
Yeah.
quite the same as probably when you're a fresher and everyone's just feral at 18, like
Yeah.
not knowing how to look after themselves. But
Well, no,
that's
I
good that you've
never
got
could
like
have
a
coped with like moving in with that many
halls.
people in halls, or oh my
Oh
God, no,
God,
not for me.
yeah. It's funny because I had 2 rounds of halls. It
Oh,
wasn't planned, but I had my first year in Derby Uni. did the whole authentic freshers thing, and that was just a bit of a feral time.
Oh my
And then
God.
because I moved unis then second year back to USW in Cardiff, I
Yeah.
had to do the halls again, which I was a bit anxious about. Not that I cared about living in halls because I didn't mind it, but I had like my own room and stuff. But it was just like, oh, I'm going to be living with freshers, and I thought it was going to be a bit intense, but I actually ended up literally living with the most mild freshers ever, and I was like,
Oh,
oh,
really?
this is actually quite calm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, it's more so like sharing the kitchen and the communal areas, because
Mm.
there was a girl in my halls who had a boyfriend who literally lived in the same block of flats, mind you. He just lived on another floor, and he also was
Yeah.
a student. But like, he would obviously come over to see her, which is fine, and we like knew him. But then like, she would go home for weekend visits to her family, and he would still stay at our flat, and it was like, this is a girl flat. This is a flat full of girls. Your girlfriend's away, and you've got a flat like 2 floors down. And he would be like walking in the kitchen shirtless and like leaving all his
Ugh.
mess. And me and my friend Amber would be like, "Why is he here?" So
Yeah,
it's like
go
things like
home.
that. You're like, can you bog off, mate? We don't want
Yeah.
you. Anyway, but yeah, it is a little bit challenging at times living in close proximity with people. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of part of the experience sometimes, though. It's like, it kind of makes you realise early on whether you are someone that can deal with living with others or
Yeah.
not so many people. But
Yeah, definitely. But like,
boundaries.
I got very lucky with this girl because
Oh,
it was
that's good.
literally just me and her, and she was good as gold. She was just like, carry on, do what you want to do.
That's why you need a nice living environment when you're busy studying, and
Yeah.
it's all quite overwhelming in itself, isn't it? Doing
Yeah.
uni or whatever.
But I'm quite like introverted anyway, so I just like I think I was like, she probably didn't even know I was living there half the time. I just like locked myself in my
Chilling in your
bedroom and
room.
just like, yeah,
You would
occupy
never
myself.
think from teenage self that you were ever an introvert, Kate. You literally were always the most what's opposite? Extroverted teenager.
Well,
But
I think I'm an introverted extrovert because I can definitely turn it on when the time comes. But
well,
my
the time was right.
preference is to just be alone and
I'm
quiet.
honestly quite similar. Like, I realise when as I've gotten older, and we'll probably get into this a bit later when we talk about 30s and stuff. But like, my social battery has got a limit. Oh my God, I can be really like chatty like this, and I'm so like, I would say like I'm a bubbly personality. Like, I'm very like, I like to talk to people and yap, of course. But like, there comes a little cut off point where I'm like, okay, I need non-verbal time now. Like, go away.
No, I do.
It's more so bigger groups of people for me. I'm really good one-on-one, and I could honestly yap for hours with someone one-on-one. But like, I find it a bit overwhelming when I'm in a large group setting. I'm like, this is a lot of effort and a lot of energy, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this anymore.
I know, honestly, I am exactly the same. It's so funny you say that because I'm identical. Like I
Maybe
can
it's a
speak to
cancer
people
thing.
when it probably
Is it a cancer thing? It must be.
Yeah, it's likely. But like, yeah, like you said, like I'm all right with people one-on-one, and I get on really well with people, and like I can communicate with people. Like as soon as you put me in a big group, I'm like, oh, this is overwhelming. Like,
girl, I've had like mild panic attacks before in like scenarios that I'm not comfortable in. And I'm like, like my friend Josie, when I went to go visit her in the early years in Barcelona, she's like a lot more, I'd say, extroverted than me. She also has a bit of a introverted side to it, but like, she was really sociable, and I met like lots of her friends over there, and we went sort of on a night out. But there was a massive group of these people, and I guess not all of them were her friends. It was like friends of friends, and then people had tagged along. I think it was like 20 of us out. I was like, oh my God. And I was having a full meltdown, like in the corner, like, Josie, I can't, this is too much for me. Like, I don't know these people, and it's like really scary. But I don't know. I think that's okay though. We're just emotional people. I think it's probably comes from a point where we like, I feel like the reason I prefer the one-on-one is because you have more in-depth conversations, and that doesn't have to necessarily mean like we're out heart to heart and we're sobbing with each other, but like, it's more about just how you're connecting with someone. Whereas when you're in a large group, I don't really like the passive conversation and the small talk. I think I find that quite draining. So it's like, I like more closer settings because you can just get to know someone like at a nice pace. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same, and I think it's just it's knowing how to manage it as well. Because I think like
Mm,
in previous years, I've just like gone along with it and just like let it consume me, and then I'm just exhausted. Whereas now,
yeah.
like I will say, like I
Gotta
just
go,
want to
love.
like go, yeah, and like I'm
So
not
nice seeing
afraid to
you.
just like go
Yeah,
because I just
I'm the same.
need to
Yeah,
protect
yeah.
my peace.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. And I
Yeah.
mean, uni is like definitely an interesting time where you're learning a bit about yourself. You're meeting
Mm.
all these characters, and everyone's sort of in the same boat. But like, I imagine obviously the same as college. Did you feel that you had like a lot of valuable life lessons and skills from like that year that you did your
Yeah.
masters?
Oh God, yeah. It was like again because I moved away from home then, obviously, and
Was
I
that
was
the first time going away from home? Like
yeah.
proper? Yeah, that's a
Well,
big move.
yeah, I mean, I'd lived like not at home. I'd lived with my partner and stuff like previously, but I was still like in Cardiff or like
Yeah, like local.
around my hometown. Whereas this was like the first time where I was like actually away from home. So
Mhm.
I was properly like standing on my own 2 feet then and like
Yeah.
paying rent and having to cook dinner and wash my
Oh,
clothes and
council tax,
yeah.
all the fun things.
Yeah, yeah. So I did. I learned loads of like life lessons. To be honest, I think like the life lessons that came from that were more substantial than like any academic skills.
Oh,
But
I couldn't agree more. I
yeah,
always say this to my friends that I know from uni still. It's like the degree didn't really do all that much for
no,
our lives and career, to be quite frank, but it gives you more of the social skills and
yeah,
just yeah, you just go through some interesting times at that part of your journey, don't you? And you're so it's always like interesting looking back in hindsight because you realize how young you are at that age.
mm,
It's like we were babies. We were literally still babies, just trying to like navigate the world for the first time.
yeah,
So yeah, it's an so in terms of like drama school itself, I get like the impression that drama school is intense. Like I don't know whether it's the depiction of what you see in movies of it,
mm,
and I think of that film Fame. You know, the
yeah,
Fame film where it's like drilled and everyone's like
yeah,
stressed, and I'm just like, is it really like that or what?
yeah. I'd say it is really intense. Like I feel like other people who I've spoken to, like who've had experiences in universities and stuff, it's kind of like, oh, well, maybe I'll go to my lecture tomorrow. Maybe I won't. Like, you
Yeah,
don't have that option in
no,
drama school. You are
no
there
skiving.
at like 7 a.m. and you stay there sometimes till like 10 p.m. if you're like
Wow,
rehearsing things and you're there every day in, day out. There's like a full itinerary all day, every day. It's really intense, but
disciplined.
it's like you said, a lot of people apply for these courses and like a lot of
Mhm.
people become very successful from going to these schools. So they clearly want to make it worth everybody's while, and like
Yeah.
they want people who are serious. They want people who are willing to take it serious. And I think that's yeah, because almost expected, like, when I went it, for people to be like, wanna go out and party or, like, wanna just go and, like, enjoy themselves, but, like, nobody did. Like, everybody was just like, "No, I'm, like,
Mhm.
really focused," and it was really intense, but it was, like it was the best time at the same time because again, it's like you're surrounded then with a group of people who all have a goal in common and they wanna do really well for themselves, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Sorry, cough in my lungs. I felt like I had a similar experience in my third year, and it probably is the fact that you were doing a masters and you've got
Mm,
like a little more level of maturity at that stage. Like if you were like a first year student somewhere, it is very much that vibe of like, oh, I could just miss all the lectures, it's fine. But
yeah.
then when you know you're doing something that's like quite intense, it's important, it's a year long, it's quite similar in the sense of your third year is where you really have to like lock in. And I was quite
Mhm.
similar. Like I wasn't bloody socializing, wasn't going out. I spent half my life in the uni campus, just like always in the library or the rooms or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's like a different level of discipline it kind of teaches you at that point.
Yeah. Oh, no, it
It's it's
does for
it's
sure.
interesting. It's an interesting like introduction, I think, to like the real working world. It makes you feel like, oh, this about to be my life when I'm a real adult
Yeah.
doing jobs, and then I don't know that whole thing can change too. But you obviously would have done intense training for all things musical theatre, acting.
Mm.
So what does like the normal pathway look like for someone who then graduates after that? learning, like, because I
Mm.
gotta say, my friend Amber, she's like budding actress, and we did a whole episode a while ago about her kind of, we'll say, struggles of like trying
Yeah.
to get into that industry, because it is like very difficult to, you have to just do audition after audition, right? Like,
Yeah.
did you go through like a similar pathway, or is it a bit different maybe for, the musical theatre world specifically, is that like
No,
much
well,
different, or?
I actually studied acting. I didn't study musical theatre when I went to
Oh wait, this
Gilbert.
was what you did in college, wasn't it? Actually, I'm mixing it up, aren't I?
Yeah, but
Sorry.
it's very similar, and I don't think there is like I don't think there is a clear like career path for anyone. I think, and it's just like you said, it's so tough, and it's like it's just relentless. It's like I feel like personally, like I was never built for the industry, which is why I don't really partake much in it anymore. And I've kind of fell out of love with it a little bit because it's so competitive, and, like, I knew that
Mm,
going into it, but it's, like, to the point where, like, I feel like a lot of the time, like, talent isn't really a consideration. It's more about, like, the way you're interacting with people, and, like, I can remember when we did our showcase, like, on the West End, it was, like, our final show, and there were agents there, and, like, a lot of our lecturers were like, "Go and, like, you need to go and,
network.
introduce yourself and, yeah,
Oh
network,"
yeah,
and I was like,
I hate
"That's not
that.
me, though. I've just stood on stage for, all right, it wasn't very long. You have like 4 minutes each in a showcase, but like, if that's not enough for somebody to want to have a meeting with me, I'm not going to go up and go, oh
Kiss
my God,
ass,
well,
basically.
yeah, please,
Yeah.
please take me on, and I did get some meetings out of it. So I was like really lucky, but like, I know people who have done very well from going, "Oh, well, I saw this production that you did in such and such in
Oh,
1983, and, like, it was so
oh,
fantastic because, well," and, like, that
it's
does
a
get you a
schmooze
long
fest, isn't
way.
it?
Yeah,
Mm.
unfortunately for
It's
some,
it's a
but
lot about, like, I think this is actually quite similar to the media industry, because I felt like a similar vibe when I left uni, and I was like Miss Keen Bean. I've just done a radio degree. I
mm,
was like really keen to work in the media industry, and I was, oh my God, I was applying for all sorts. They even taught us in uni like how to create a media CV specifically to like showcase your skills, a little bit
mm,
different than a, your regular CV. And I had like a blog page set up. I had like a portfolio of all my stuff I did in uni and all this nonsense. And it was just like a waste of time, because nobody wants to know you, unfortunately, when you're a
no,
graduate. I mean, that's, I feel like, a prevalent challenge even today for poor graduates who are struggling in like the current job economy or the job market. But
mm,
it was just like, there were some people I knew in uni and like years below me who, because they were like kind of well in with the course leader, or they knew someone who give them a good word,
mm,
they like left uni immediately and got like a placement in the BBC. Whereas I was like applying endlessly to the BBC because that was kind of like the only local media company that was as big in the Cardiff area,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm not getting a word in edgeways. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm learning the hard way now that this is actually kind of about who you know and who's
yeah,
like putting a word in for you. And then like I ended up having to do just so much free work, and I was volunteering for like media, PR companies. I was doing photography for some of these events, and it
mm,
was just getting me nowhere. I was like, I thought this was the point. I thought you're meant to like build up your skills and build up your CV, and it
yeah,
just, none of it made a difference. I was like, oh, so what I actually needed to do all that time was just like lick the arse of whoever I was working with, and they
literally,
might have
yeah,
given me a permanent job, but because I'm also like just not built that way, I'm not able to play that game. I just can't do it. And it's
no,
like, it is a shame, isn't it, that that's what the merit seems to be, not
mm.
actually your skills and what you've just studied your bloody life for. It's like, oh, all right then, hen, cheers.
Yeah. No,
Thanks for that.
exactly. It is really disheartening. And like, don't get me wrong, I don't think everybody has the same experience. Like there are
Yeah.
very talented people out there who are like very successful,
Oh, of
but
course, of course.
I do think like that has a big like because the thing is, it's like nobody wants to audition like who's gonna audition you for Wicked the musical when you haven't got one credit on your CV? Like they're not at
Mm,
the end of the day,
mm-hmm.
but then it's like, well, nobody wants you because you haven't got a credit, but then you can't get a credit because nobody wants you, and it's just like a vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself just like, well, I got an agent in the end, and I was like auditioning for just like I don't know, just like little like regional pantos and like it's like all well and good and it's like I get that that's kind of the step you have to take, but I was also just like I've like worked my ass off to do this and I'm
Mhm.
like I'm performing to like a group of like 4-year-olds in like some shitty little school in East London and it's
Mhm.
like like
This
I
is
don't
not what
want to
I
be
envisioned.
no, this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
not
yeah.
what I had in mind
This
here.
was not the big dream, guys. Where's the
No,
Oscar? Come on.
no. But
No, I feel you. It's a bit disheartening because you just, like you said, you put in so much effort and work, and then it's a little bit of a harsh reality for some people. They're like, "Oh, this wasn't actually quite as straightforward as they kind of made it out
no.
in the uni or college or whatever." And it's like they don't really prepare you for that, do they? It's like, "Oh, just like make this
Yeah.
CV and make a little blog and all the best. Wish you luck." And then obviously you have to kind of learn for yourself when you get into the industry as such. But
Mm.
I mean, I think you reach I mean, for me personally, it was actually becoming more of a thing about like financially. I was like, I actually need money. Like, I want to live. Like,
Yeah.
I'd like to not live with my parents all my life and go out and rent a flat. And like, I can't just work for free for people in the hopes that that might open a door. And so for some
Mhm.
people, it's like a necessity because it's like, well, gotta pay some bills at some point, you know? So
Yeah.
it's just crazy how almost like it sounds a bit depressing to say, but like how quickly the dream can just be flamed out. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
what I will say is a positive turn point is this is kind of what I do love now about like the rise of social media and like platforms like TikTok and YouTube. And there's so much
Mm.
more, I think, freedom and opportunity now for creatives or artistic people to like try and platform themselves,
Yeah.
which don't get me wrong, that's not an easy job either, and that's not
No,
possible for
no.
everyone. But like, it's an opportunity that I don't think existed much. I mean, what started in what, like 2009 or something? So
Yeah.
quite not. It's quite like young in life, really, isn't it? YouTube, and it's quite nice to see that people can take that path now if they want to. And
Yeah.
you're obviously doing something similar where you've now got your 30 flirty and styling page. Do you want to do a little
Yeah.
plug? Tell us about that.
Well, well, I mean,
Well,
after where do I
this is good.
begin? No.
This actually, I'm realizing I've like skipped ahead a little bit in your story. Sorry, because this probably I'm just gonna speak on your behalf here. You're
Yeah.
obviously a fashion girly, and before you did these videos, you came from like a background of doing like film costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Costume for TV and so I left drama school, did a bit of like acting, little just rubbish jobs really, and then COVID hit and
Oh,
then
it
the
did.
world just turned upside down and I was
Mhm.
like, right, okay then, well,
Where were
that's
you living when COVID was happening?
still in Guildford.
Oh wow, so you were still up there.
But at the time, like we were traveling back and forth to London to audition for stuff quite a lot. And like we were like getting in the room and like meeting people and it was like great. But obviously COVID just put a massive stop to all that. And like
Mhm.
nothing was happening. Like there were no shows going on.
Yeah.
And then, when it did start to kind of like resuscitate, it was just like everything was online. It was like all bloody like online performances and all the auditions were happening online, which I was just like,
It's not
this
the
just
same,
isn't
is it?
working for me. Like,
Mhm.
no, you don't get anywhere near the level of like connection that you can get like when you're in a room with someone or like an understanding of like what they can do from just like a video online is crazy. But that all happened and then we were living in Guildford at the time and I was like, right, my brother works in TV and film. He works in electrical what do they call it? Like he's a
Grips.
gaffer basically. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so my brother works in the film industry. He's a spark and so again it's like all about who you bloody know rather than what you know.
Mhm.
But he had a lot of connections in the industry and he put me onto this job where I worked as a runner for like a job because and I was just like scouting out the industry basically from like behind the scenes almost.
Mhm.
Um,
It's not an easy job being a runner.
oh
Oh my
God.
god. I was when I worked for this PR media company for free full time.
Mm.
I was doing a bit of like being an artist runner at like a festival.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so intense. You're like
I
got a clipboard and running around all day doing
yeah.
like 1,000 errands. It's so intense and for like little pay as well, which I
Yeah.
like deeply respect about like runners on sets because they do not get the credit they deserve.
Absolutely not. Like, I genuinely think everybody should work as a runner at least what if
Yeah.
they're working in the film industry, as even
Mhm.
actors, because
Yeah.
like they're the lowest paid member of the crew, and like they have to do the most shit. Like
Oh, you
they're
really
running
do.
around doing anything and anything for everyone. They're
It's
like
like Anne
grabbing
Hathaway in The
people's
Devil Wears
lunch.
Prada,
Yeah, it's
getting
like
the coffees, getting the scarves.
it's the pits. It is the pits of the film
It
industry.
really is.
But you gotta go through it, like, everybody's just gotta start
Yeah. It's
somewhere.
like a badge of honor.
Yeah, literally, and I'm glad I did it because
Yeah.
I feel like I really have, like, a lot of respect now for runners and, like, when I was a runner, there were people who were just like, "Yeah, just make me a cup of tea," like, I would never ever make a runner make me a cup of tea, like, I'm very capable of making my own
Mhm.
tea, so I think it's good in that way because it's kind of taught me to be really respectful. I mean, not that I wouldn't be anyway, but you just have a new,
Yeah.
like, what's the word? Like a,
Level of respect,
yeah, yeah,
basically.
you
Yeah.
do when you've done the job. It's the same as like when you go to like a restaurant and you're being served by a
Yeah.
waiter. Like, if you've never
I
worked in
always think
hospitality,
hospitality, retail, like we've all got to just do the shit jobs at some point in our
yeah,
life to like understand the struggle. And
yeah,
then you might progress a little bit from there and think, oh, I appreciate that now. I remember similar feelings when I was in like uni doing bloody nightclub work and
mm,
being that sad little person on the street handing out the flyers. And like, it's just a bit demoralizing.
it is.
Everyone just ignores you. But like, from that point onwards, even till today, I'm like, "Oh, if I see someone with a flyer, I might not always take it, but I'm going to acknowledge you. Like, no,
Yeah,
thank you. Like, is this people just literally walk? They just look through you. That you're just
yeah.
non-existent to them. So, yeah, we all got to go through the struggle bus at some point, but
Yeah, and you
it
can
makes you
spot the
appreciate where
people
you are.
who haven't done it because and just
The
avoid them at
divas.
all costs. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, eventually I ended up working in the costume department. I did loads of jobs on in costume. I absolutely loved it. And like I always felt a bit of like imposter syndrome to be honest, but I did really well and like but it was always just a bit like because I didn't have a degree in costume or like making or
Mhm.
anything like that. I was always a bit like, oh, am I like, do people like think I should be here in a way? But I think that's just like, that's just the nature of the industry. I think everybody kind of feels a bit like that. And I feel like that, happens in like most industries, to be honest, where people are just kind of like almost winging it a lot, like,
Mhm.
I
Life
don't
is
know.
just a complete winging it situation, I
Yeah.
find. Like, most people you work with in all sorts of jobs don't have a clue what they're doing half the time, and we're all just
Mm.
making it up as we go along.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And like, not to be disrespectful because it is a really tough job and like a lot of people have got like a lot of qualifications and a lot of
mhm.
skills and like especially like designers and stuff. Like some of the designers I work with were just phenomenal. But yeah, I loved it. I mean, I absolutely loved it, but it just like freelance life just
Stressful.
was so difficult for me and like it was just there's just some, like, really bizarre moments I'll just look back on forever and just think, "Oh my god, like, did I actually, like, live through that?"
Can
Just
you
like
give us an example?
look well, there's many, many examples, but, like, I was working I obviously won't name any names, where I was, like, on this TV show and, like, this actress, she was, like, number 1 cast member, which is, like, a big deal, but she wasn't
Mhm.
even really, like, that crazy famous or
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
but, like, I can remember her just, like, screaming at me once in a field because I didn't know where her
No.
clothes were, and I
Oh.
we had this, like we were filming in this, like, big barn, but it was quite far away from the trailers, and I'd been on set all day, I'd been there with her because I was in costume, I was working, as a standby, so it's like I have, like, a little iPad, and my job is to, like, check for continuity basically. So we'll have like the
Mhm.
whole script and because some scenes like we could film them walking out the door like in February maybe, and then film them walking into the other place wherever they're going in like July. There could be like months in between
Mhm.
those two scenes. So if they've walked out with their jacket over their right arm, I
Yeah.
need to have made a log of that so that when they come in, even though
Yeah, it
we're
doesn't
like
look
months
yeah.
later in on the film, it's obviously gonna just glue together like that. So
Mhm.
anyway, I'd been on set all day. She'd been there with me. And then I came to the trailer and she was like, "Where are my clothes?" Like screaming at me. And I was like,
God.
in the
No
middle of this
need.
field. And I was saying, "What?" And like, I was like writing my continuity notes as well. And she was just like so fuming about the fact that I was just stood there. She rung the designer and was like, "This girl is like useless. She's like, blah, blah, blah."
Oh,
Like,
no.
terrible. And like,
What a way to treat someone.
awful. Like, the way she screamed at me was just
What a
wild.
diva.
And like,
Well, cancel her, whoever she is.
yeah. There's been, like, several occasions that very similar with because actors are, like,
God.
treated like gods on set.
I can imagine. I mean, you hear like all the horror stories, don't you? Like, just even with big A-star celebs and like,
Mm.
wasn't there like that famous video of like Christian Bale like screaming on set at people? Like, it's a very common thing
Yeah.
that we just know, don't we? Like, because quite a few things have been recorded during time. I mean,
Yeah.
she's very lucky nothing was recorded. Could have
Yeah,
like
I
got a
know.
little voice clip without her knowing, but
Yeah, I could
it's
have.
sad really that people feel they have to even do that to sort of like protect themselves ultimately.
Yeah. And it's like, at the end of the day, like, the crew are there, I'm not joking, like, 6 a.m. till, like, 10
Yeah.
PM, like, we're there all day,
Mhm.
every day, and, like, sometimes you're on night shoots and stuff, like, actors, they dip in and out, and, like, there's no doubt
And they
about
get the
it.
fancy trailers, they get
Yeah,
all the nice treatment. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and, like, it's a tough job, don't get me wrong, being an actor, it is a tough job, but
Mhm.
no, it's not. You can't compare that to like being on set all day, every day. And like you said,
No.
like, you're not in a trailer in the warmth. You're out in the freezing cold on the top of a mountain and your food is stone cold by the time you get a chance to eat it. And there's no hot water and you can't wash your hands anyway. You got to
Mhm.
pee in a portaloo. It's like, it's the
It's not a
trenches.
glamorous life.
It's not. And it sounds
No.
so glamorous, but it's just really not.
And ultimately, like, you're all just a cog in the same machine, aren't you? And
Yeah.
no matter whether you're the actress getting paid far more than the runners at the bottom, like,
Mm,
you all still make the same machine move, don't you? And it's sad when and the sad thing is that is like the same reality in lots of industries, even
mm-hmm.
just in corporate life. Like, yes, there's hierarchies and people get paid more for more responsibilities, but you all at the end of the day are serving the same product.
Yeah.
There's a mission that you're all trying to deliver. So like we'd all just get on better if we all just treated each other nicely
Yeah.
and got on with each other. But yeah, it's a shame that some people have to let power get to their heads a little bit, don't they?
I know, and I think that's what is forgotten like a lot of times in the film industry is that it is like a collaborative
Mhm.
effort and everybody is there doing a job. And I think especially for like costume people as well and like makeup and hair, like I think because it's a women's, like a kind of a women's viewed as
Mhm.
a women's career or like a
Yeah.
women's it's like a lot of the time, like the ADs or like the camera crew will be like, oh God, you're just fussing with the collar again, or oh, do you really need that like lip gloss? And it's like, well, yeah, we do
It's the little
actually.
details that matter,
Yeah,
actually. And that's why they
exactly.
have like categories where costume like designers and teams get like Oscars and awards. It's not like
Exactly.
it's the exact same. It's no different to the level of detail that maybe someone feels for a camera shot or like the way a lighting looks in a certain shot. Like it's the same
Mm,
thing, isn't it? It's just a certain sect or a certain department that ultimately all those departments bring together the masterpiece that is the film.
yeah. I mean, it's
Um,
all just as
yeah.
important, isn't it?
Have you had any interest in like I can actually remember bumping into you when you were working in costume. I think you
Mm,
were returning like packages or something to do with work. And
yeah.
I can imagine that was like clothes or outfits and
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Like were you often having to just like run around the place and like source in
Yeah.
outfits? Like what was probably the most challenging or random thing can you remember that you had to like go and find?
Well, it was I mean, yeah, I mean, I worked as a standby on a few jobs, but then I also would work as a buyer where I would like have to go and source like a
Yeah.
load of stuff for somebody to try on like for the following day, like a fit in or wherever. Um, but yeah, that was like and again, it sounds so fun. You just like go shopping all day, every day. But I would literally like walk around Cardiff Central or wherever I
Ugh.
was at the time,
Mhm.
like Bristol, London, wherever, with like 4 massive suitcases. And I would like fill them to the brim with like
Wow.
clothes ready for them to do like a fit in the next day. And, like, it's just nonstop. It was just like, like, I almost feel like because I found a lot that, like, designers, they're, like, so creative-minded that they don't have the capacity to actually organize things. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
would be like it would be literally, like, 9 o'clock on a Monday and they'd be like, "Oh shit, we need a pair of pajamas for the first scene tomorrow, which we're filming at
Mhm.
8 a.m." It's like,
Go,
well,
go, go.
what? Like, how can we source
Oh
that now? And
god.
they'd be like, well, you'll have to just drive to London and go and pick them up. It's like just things like that.
Stress.
It was wild. But like I'd say the most like ridiculous, like, and this was kind of like the straw which broke the camel's back, to be honest. It was like the last job I ever did in the film industry, and it was
Mhm.
a series which I friggin' love as well. Like, I absolutely adore it, and I was, like, so buzzing to get this job. Anyway, I was, like, working on this bloody film, and the designer said to me, oh, because she knew I had a dog, and she was like, "Oh, you like dogs, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love dogs." Like, you know?
Yeah.
And, she said, "Oh, well, this guy is coming down from London tomorrow for a fit-in. Um, I might need you to just, like, the condition is that he brings his dog, so I might need you to just, like, occupy the dog wherever." So I was like, "Fine." Anyway, then tomorrow came and I was like running around like a headless chicken. I had so much things to get. And I was on my way out and she rung me and she was like, "Oh, where are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just going out. I gotta go and pick this stuff up from the printer. I gotta blah blah blah." She said, "Oh well, this guy's coming for the fitting and I was hoping you would just like try and entertain the dog for a bit." So I was like, right. I'm employed
Got a job to
as a
do, but
fucking
sure.
costume person, but okay, fine. So I come back and this guy, I'm not joking, like he had this Shih Tzu, right? It was like a really ugly
Mhm.
dog. And he just like handed me the lead and a fistful of poo bags. And he was like, she's probably gonna need a poo because she's been on the train all morning. So and then
What?
just like went into the fitting and I was like, oh right, so I'm literally the dog
A dog
walker.
minder for the day?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I
Oh my
and this
god.
fucking dog, right, I had, like, separation anxiety. Oh my
Oh
god. It was just
no.
crying the whole time, like, pulling to go back. I thought it was gonna snap the lead. Did a massive shit, and I was like, "I don't even like picking up my own
No.
dog's poo. Like, this is disgusting." And I was just like,
That's just a bit
"I can't
demoralising at
do
that
this
point, isn't
anymore."
it?
Yeah.
Like, you're not even getting paid to do the job that you're being there paid to
No.
do.
And I just
Oh
thought,
my
"What am I
god.
doing here? Like, this is actually mental."
But would it have been, like, your boss that, like, signed off on that then
Yeah,
for
well, it
you to
was my boss who was ringing me to say, because my boss
Oh.
is the designer, really. And I was just like, and like,
Do they
you're
not have the power to be like, "That doesn't fall in our remit, I'm sorry, hen." Like, isn't that what, like, personal assistants are for or
yeah,
whatever, or
but it was,
runners maybe?
I mean, it was an actor. You can't upset an actor. God
Oh, you
forbid.
simply can't. You simply can't, because
No.
then they'll get you fired or some not. I don't like this power imbalance. I feel like we obviously hear a lot, just even in like the film and television industry,
Mm,
about kind of. I mean, I guess I'm thinking of like this is a bit more of a serious topic, but like the Me Too of it all, and
mm,
just like how this weird power imbalance can happen. When someone's a bit higher up in the ranking, shall we say,
yeah.
it's kind of sad that they like hold this power over people below them.
Mm,
And it's not, I'm sure it's not, like you said, it's not just male actors, it's clearly female actors too. But
yeah.
like with the Me Too example, that was just like an ingrained issue within the industry where like very powerful men like Harvey Weinstein at the top of the chain
Mm.
are just practically controlling everything under them
Yeah.
because of their position of power. And it's like, it's kind of sad that that's so prevalent, not necessarily falling under the categories of like the crimes that he committed, but even
Mm.
just in the way that we treat people and treat people who ultimately you all work together. So
Mm.
it's kind of sad to know that like that must be still quite a prevalent thing in the film and media industry of like,
Yeah.
why is everyone being a knob to each other? What's that all about?
No, it definitely exists, like, without a shadow of a doubt, and, like, I've experienced it where, like, older male actors are just like, "Oh, you're just, like,
They're
a
just like
piece of shit." Like, who
misogynistic.
cares? Like, yeah, yeah, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, it's not, and I think just everybody is just so exhausted as well because everybody's just so overworked, and, like,
Mm,
I used to kind of, like, almost petition a lot to, like, we should just down tools.
yeah,
Like, when the day is done, we should down tools because the sparks do it, the gaffers do it, the grips do it. Like, they're very happy to say, like, "Okay, time's up, we gotta go." Whereas, like, again, in, like, the more female-dominated sectors of the film industry, that would not go down well if we just down tools. It was like, I remember once we filmed, I was doing this job and we filmed this scene where this girl got stabbed, and the director was like, "We're not going to see any blood. Definitely not. Definitely not." And I was like, "Are you sure? Because we're filming in this jacket like first thing tomorrow morning. So if it gets blood on it, like we're kind of screwed." "No, no, we won't see any blood." We get to film him, and he's like, "Oh, we need the blood." So it's like, okay, this is like 9 p.m. now on like,
mm,
and it's like, okay, I can't say no. Like, I can't just stop filming just because I know I'm going to have to stay there till like 1 o'clock in the morning to scrub this jacket and wait for it to come out of the washing machine. But it's just like, we just want it. So you're going to have to make it work. And
just
like,
deal with it.
that's the attitude. It's just like, make it work. So we did. And we put blood all over the jacket and we were there till like 1 a.m. just scrubbing it,
Oh.
getting it cleaned and dry for the next morning. But
These are the things that you would never know as a viewer, like watching the film, watching the
mm,
product. People don't understand like the graft and tears that go into it.
no,
And it's obviously, it sounds like it's a very demanding industry. I'm sure it obviously reaps rewards and can be very fulfilling for many people, but it also does
mm,
sound like a very like challenging and tough industry to be in.
yeah.
Like it's very labor intensive, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, like I've done some really good jobs which I've absolutely bloody loved. I like sex ed, for example, is like,
Oh, I love that
oh my
program.
God, it was
So
great
good.
to work on. I think it's just because everybody's so young and like sprightly and like
Yeah.
really enthusiastic. And like that was very much the vibe when we were on set. Like everybody's like really eager to do stuff. Whereas like, a lot of the time, especially when it's like, I don't know, it just seemed to be when like older actors and it's almost like when older actors who like aren't really that successful, like, they'd
The
kind of have, like,
D-listers, basically.
yeah, it was like a bit
Mhm.
of a bee in their bonnet then, and they were, like, really begrudging about doing everything and anything for anyone else. It's like, and it made everybody's job so much more difficult.
So there you have it, girlies. That was our part one. I'm going to just stop it right there because we do just yap, yap, and yap. And this was kind of the only part of the pod where there was sort of a stopping point. So we just had a big old chat about like the creative industry. There's a little bit of a continuation of that into episode 2, which will be out next week, or part 2, I should say. So stick around. Thank you, Kate, for joining me this week. She'll be back again next week and we'll have much more to talk about. As usual, guys, you know the drill. Please do like this episode if you're listening to it on YouTube, Spotify. Make sure you are subscribed if you're not already. Really trying to get that follower count up, up, up. I can't do without your help, so please do make sure to share the pod with a friend or family member. If you ever see me posting stuff on the Insta or on TikTok, share it to your friends. I'm on like 107 or so, I think, on TikTok right now, which is awesome stuff. So if you're on that platform, please come on over, The Weekly Wigs. It's the handle for everything. Everything's in my bio. There's a link tree, everything that you need. So please do that. And I will catch you next week on our part 2. And have a lovely rest of your day, hens. Bye.